Excellent. Thank you very much, Kevin. And thank you, Mac and Mary Grace. So we're now going to move on to the next award, which is for kind of workshop and training engagements. So is looking at all kinds of different educational engagements that have been run using the EXO framework. And I will, without further ado, hand over to Stuart for the third place.
Thank you, Yaroslav, and great to be back. And so now we're going to get onto the EXO Workshop and Training Award for excellence in running EXO workshops and training. And then again, this year, an incredible group of applicants, and we're delighted to let everyone know, third place, Karina Almagro, for designing the world's first master's degree in exponential organizations with the top business school, IADA. Karina?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. As you probably know, awareness about exponentiality and disruption is growing, making EXO a great methodology and framework to teach at educational institutions. However, these educational institutions are including this disruptive content into their traditional programs, existing MBAs, existing college degrees. If we continue that path, we will not achieve the transformation that is required in terms of mindset, behavior, and culture to successfully implement EXO within organizations. This is why I decided to create a full master of exponential organizations that really have a different learning approach. The objective of this master is to disrupt the current MBA, to make the MBA obsolete, as I strongly believe that the world doesn't need more leaders trained on how to administer a business, as the MBA stands for, but how to transform existing businesses and how to create new businesses. This is finally happening. On September 27th, we will kick off at EADA Business School in Barcelona, the first Master in Exponential Organizations. It is going to be 12 months of learning and practicing. We have 10 different subjects, more than 200 hours of content, and we have a format that is online and 1 week face-to-face in Barcelona. My biggest learning here is that educational institutions want to teach EXO, but do not want to become EXOs. Exponential organizations, right? I have started this journey a long time ago. I have talked about this project with different universities in multiple continents, and only EADA has been courageous enough to bring the changes and the new approach that it takes to launch such a program. EADA, by the way, is ranked number 9 business school for the world, according to the World Economic Forum in 2020. So here, what they did is they use staff on demand for the sales, of this master, as it's a totally different master. They relied entirely on the EXO community for professors and knowledge. They also took very different engagement approaches when it comes to scholarships and promotion, totally different materials, and they fully embrace the experimentation approach. The idea here is to have the latest content on the table when participants are in the class, and we haven't had to sign a specific syllabus with a directory, etc. So it's been a hard but really exciting journey. This is the first one in the world, but in the abundance spirit, we don't want this to be the only one. So I want to invite all of you, the EXO community, to find early adopters and take the same approach. Thank you so much for this recognition, and stay in touch.
Fantastic stuff, Karina. Lovely to hear from you. Thank you so much, and congratulations again. All right, so on to our second place now for the EXO Workshop and Training Award. We're delighted to announce our second place winner is Michael Friebe for his EXO-based lectures and related training activities. Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you very much. I hope you hear me well, because I'm parked on a street in my RV because I'm traveling right now. So
we hear you perfectly.
Congratulations to Karina. I think she has done a great job. I have actually tried several times to convince universities to do something like that with no results. But going back to me, I'm a dedicated healthcare innovator. as an entrepreneur, investor, and researcher. And I believe that health is one of the most important areas, and with the least digitization, with great inequalities, huge cost burden. And I believe that exponential technologies could promise a traumatic disruption for that segment. So, and disruption always comes with changed business models, but not many seem to look at it that way. With health democratization, that's part of my MTP. We want to create an environment that stimulates innovation in an interdisciplinary setup with a goal to massively change the current setup. And the ExO model was used for my lecture that I will introduce in a second as a core element. And I titled that Future-Oriented Health Tech Innovation Design with an Exponential Mindset. So this graduate lecture at a public German university was completely online, with participants that had to go through the Open ExO seminars and many other related external courses, work on several future-oriented assignments, and a team MVP, a minimal viable prototype or product, for a health disruption using the ExO canvas and ExO models, focusing on the future patient. I want to point it out, patient, because it's not the healthcare stakeholders that I believe will be driving innovation. And that lecture can easily be adapted to replace, when you replace health tech with anything else. And so I think it could be a good basis. I hope it could be a good basis. The results were, that we had almost 10 students in the first semester, 10 ExO foundation courses with that, 2 ExO coaches, Beatrice Barbarosini, she's on the call. She was one of the top students there. 3 cool projects, one advancing to a startup, a lecture prize presented on 3 conferences, 2 journal papers. And now we was accepted by 2 other innovative universities. I'm very happy about that because typically universities do not understand that there is change going on even for their own business model. And so if you have universities that understand that you need to focus on 21st century skills, that is a great advancement. And I will also write a book. I have received a contract from Springer Nature to write a book about exponential health innovation, and that obviously ExO will be a core concept for that as well. So my learnings were that students are actually, you can enthuse them, you can motivate them. And if you provide them with an active, problem-oriented and future-oriented lecture, and also include some teamwork. I also believe that stimulating this exponential mindset by using real problems, in our case, the health problems, is super exciting to them and creates a lot of fun and future-oriented thinking. And we also use games a lot. Sci-Fi High Future of Health was part of this course and was developed from there. And I believe that these fun components and actual tangible results are the key to motivating innovation in the future. And in all honesty, if the professor has no fun in this, then it would be also awful. So I had a lot of fun as well, and I think that other students will have that too. But and the third learning was that ExO methodology in combination with other agile and future-oriented approaches is extremely powerful. And we have to mention that a tool in the hand of a fool is just a tool, that saying. So proper introduction and mentoring are key to that. And in that respect, I'm very happy to see that Open ExO is actually investing more in showcasing those real examples and these motivational lectures. And the ExO Awards are a great way to do that. So more on that, please. And I'm very, very happy with the second place. And I'm glad being part of this community. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing those learnings.
And I was live, by the way.
Really appreciate it. Congratulations again. And so now we're at the first place and overall prize winner for the ExO Workshop and Training Award. We're delighted to let you all know that the winner for this award is first place Francisco Milagres for Mirach and for your ExO-based Senior Executive Program. Congratulations, Francisco.
Thank you, Stuart. Is very glad to be sharing this short list with Corina and Michael. I'm very glad to be part of this community. So my experience on creating this senior program called Exponential Thinking was in the beginning of the process after the book Exponential Organization was published, based on experiment that one of my clients kind of pushed me to bring together a group of 12 attendees and split into 6 sessions. And that in the beginning of the sessions, we created kind of a product that I created on dozen sessions across Brazil and also on some international customers. And we have a lot of experience. We have experienced a lot of good deep dive sessions, bringing not only technical content, but I also brought by the attendees, invited people to bring their own experiences on applying these concepts. And we even had experience to connecting these attendees with a very close relationship groups that we even meet today after 4 or 5 years on dinners, on travels, and also investing together. We had a lot of outcomes, like one bestseller book on the future of medicine, and also connected with the topic that Michael mentioned. There's a bestseller here in Brazil, published 2 large exits, and even one IPO that was created. It was in kind of inception and grew through that process of the development of the workshop amongst a group of 150, 170 people in Brazil, even with a group of CEOs from YPO. But the main topics that I could learn a lot, 2 main ones, is that even though we have very good examples of ExO across the globe, listed companies that we can bring, it's very important to learn from the companies that are part of our daily activities, even smaller ones or companies that are growing very fast here in Brazil, and how to correlate these methods and these characteristics with the program itself, to bring real life examples and to help the attendees to correlate the examples and the theory with the real examples. And of course, I apply that to the by process of creating this, on leveraging exponential technologies, experimenting and applying this. I'm also, that's what you call eating my own dog food, on pivoting and experimenting this, creating a series of videos and online content we have already released based on the learnings from this, the ExO Foundations in Portuguese. And also during this development of this program, I was also able to support the translation of the Exponential Transformation book in Portuguese, and also wrote the local foreword also. So I was very happy to be part of this and also learn a lot from this process, and very glad to be recognized at the first place on this award. Thank you again, and very happy to continue to spread the word, and of course, spread the content across Brazil and across the globe.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Francisco. I'm going to go to all 3 of you in a panel just in a second, but since Stuart has also completed his 2 awards, Stuart, I was just thinking if you have any closing messages to kind of say to the viewers about your experience.
Well, I do, and thank you. I have to say it's been an absolute pleasure being part of an incredible group of judges, including the amazing Denise and Sujaya. To see the work that you've put into this, Yaroslav and Kevin, and the many years since Salim's book, my good friend, I'm so happy for all of you. And more importantly, the group that we as judges got to review across all the different awards. It's humbling to see the power of the work they've done, and especially the impact they're making in the world. And so whilst we can't give an award to everyone, I can tell you everyone was award worthy, and it was truly a pleasure to be able to be part of this process. So thank you, and congratulations to everyone.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Stuart. It was awesome to get to work with you a little bit. Great to have you part of the jury. Thank you for all your contribution, for taking it as it went. And yeah, thank you very much. And I'm sure we'll be in touch going forward. So let me, if we can bring up, Jill, our panelists. So we have Francisco here. We have Corina at the airport. Thank you. Thank you, Corina. And we have Michael as well. So, you know, this category, it's kind of also special for me because I'm actually so happy for all 3 of you, because you've been so instrumental. It's not just the projects that you applied with, which were awesome by its own, but it's all of the work that you've been doing around ExO, like so many different projects and activities, and bringing in people and bringing in the community. I mean, I think you 3 all really deserve the award so much. So my first question actually won't be about your project, but I wanted to ask you maybe what is like one thing that really inspires you about ExO that kind of kept you going. And Corina, I'm going to go with you because I think at some point you'll just jump onto the plane. So I'll just try to get something from you when we can. So what inspires you about ExO?
For me, it's including the disruptive thinking in the world. You know, I think that people are not ready for this. A lot of people are thinking I'm going to finish my job or what I'm going to do. And, you know, I think this is part of our life now. And we all have to think about being disrupted, our company, our business, everything. And I think this is something that I love about ExO, how it incorporated in the thinking and in the strategy and in all the premises.
Awesome. That's great, Corina. Thank you very much. Michael, same question for you. What inspires you about EXO?
I actually would have almost said the same thing than Corina did, but I add one thing to it. I'm a member of a conventional, I call it conventional university, and they think very conventional. They think very old term, and I had the pleasure and opportunity to actually introduce something completely new. It's not part of a curriculum. So as a professor in Germany, you have actually opportunity to do whatever you want to do as a lecturer. And I decided that this is a really, that is a thinking process, a mindset changing process that needs to be introduced to the students that are kind of like educated in silos. They get a very deep tech, in my case as an engineer, a deep tech education, but they don't look broad. They don't understand that purpose, and actually trying to solve global problems should be the key of their training, and that they can pull people together, staff on demand, leverage asset. They can pull people in to actually help them solve things. And so I believe this focus on the attributes and focus on this agile thinking process and on global issues is a absolutely cool thing. And if everybody would do that, I think we would be in a much better world.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Francisco, same question for you. One thing that inspires you about EXO for all these years?
Yeah, I think is the community part that we have. I would add up to what Corina and Michael mentioned, that being part of this global community is quite easy when you have a problem. That, of course, methodology, we have access, cases, we have content, but when we need different point of views from different cultures, from different backgrounds, from different industries, I don't know any other community on the planet that we have so rich and deep knowledge and access as we have been building since the 100 people that we have brought together in the beginning of the process. So I think the community and the collaboration efforts are key for me as being part of this community. Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you, Francisco. I'm going to switch to Corina. Corina, I'm actually going to ask you two questions at once so you can answer them and you can go fly. So you don't need to be worried kind of on there. So my two questions is, first one, Corina, you've been probably, one of the most active community members. You've built up community in Chile. You've run several sprints and you are continuing to do so. You're now doing this kind of exponential master with IEDA. What is maybe one, like the biggest challenge that you've encountered as you try to bring EXO to the world and how you've resolved it? So that's my first question. And my second question is, what is your own wish for your EXO work for the rest of the year? Where would you like to see yourself and EXO by the end of the year? So those are my two questions, and then you can hop on your plane.
Good. So regarding the first one, for me, the mindset, dealing with, like a mindset that people don't wanting to change has been the hardest part. I think this is something that I have to deal every day. And I also think it's about the, like if you invest in McKinsey and they do it wrong, it was McKinsey's fault. But if you invest in Corina, Mauro, and EXO and you do it wrong, it is your fault, right? So I think these CEOs and C-level people don't want to have the responsibility, so they prefer to invest in big firms, even if they are not bringing anything new, if they have worked with them before and didn't achieve the goals. But I think that's the hardest, like getting their trust and reassure that you are going to do it okay, that it's going to be okay, and they're not going to get the fault, I think this is one of the biggest challenges that I have faced.
And how did you overcome it, Corina? Because you've actually, there were several sprints, and so you had to somehow find a recipe. What is your unique recipe to overcome these challenges?
For me, it's been positioning the sprint as a training. So not as a transformational exercise, but as a training, and then the transformation comes. But if you think about transformation, it's hard for them to rely on something new with no such a big firm behind. So I think that's a formula that has worked really, really well for me. Yeah.
Excellent. And your one big goal or one wish for end of the year for EXO and you?
That there are many, many more people knowing about EXO and practicing EXO and implementing EXO within the companies and organization, institutions, even for themselves. So having this exponential mindset really integrated in people's mind and behavior and culture.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Corina, for that. And have a safe flight, and good luck also with your master in September. It's going to be awesome. We can't wait to hear the news.
I will let you know. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Excellent. Francisco, let's go to you with the same two questions. So one biggest obstacle, and how did you overcome it when bringing ExO to the market? And then your own wish for ExO in Brazil and for your own work.
I think the main challenges is the language. Of course, a lot of Brazilians are ready to understand and exercise in English also, but when you go deeper into applying this in real life examples or being part of sprint teams, that we have already discussed this several times with other sprint teams, it's quite hard to bring people from Brazil to be part of global sprint teams, and the other way around. When we plan to apply these methodologies, we of course need to get the right people and the right assets to build the teams to serve the customer or to serve a specific challenge in Brazil. But when we bring someone that only speaks English or Spanish can be quite challenging. So preparing more leading professionals here in Brazil, Portuguese speakers, I think is still one of my biggest challenge. And that connects with the second question, is that my part of my role is be kind of an ambassador, as I've been ambassador, but creating content in Portuguese, writing more articles, spreading the news and spreading the content in Portuguese. We have already worked together on ExO foundations in Portuguese, hopefully shortly on the other two certifications, and also my own other training that will release within a couple of weeks, and also the book in Portuguese. I'm also releasing my own book next year, so in Portuguese, and also you can help us spread the word. But there's another challenge that is important, is having people from the community or outside the community that understand and apply the abundance concept. Because a lot of people kind of connect with the community, capture the knowledge or the authority, and kind of trying to bring to themselves the process and trying to close this and sell. It's not part of the process, that we kind of understand that this will not be a long-term way of serving or applying this. So we understand that this can be a part of this. And it's definitely, if you understand, and you are hearing me now, even in English, but certainly in Portuguese, we can be, if you have these mindset and you are ready for this, we can just connect and work together, apply the abundance and eating our own dog food, exercising this, and of course, helping other countries also based from Brazil.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Francisco. And as Francisco mentioned, he's actually been working and it's already finished. So you can take now foundations in Portuguese, which is very exciting. And we actually have another Portuguese-speaking community member who is based in Portugal, Nuno Machado Lopez, and he's done a great job on filming all of the attribute videos for new attribute videos for our consulting course. But he might be open to some collaboration in Portuguese as well. So definitely you should connect and see what you can cook up there. Thank you, Francisco. And Michael, over to you. Same two questions. One biggest challenge, how did you overcome it? And one wish for you and ExO until the end of the year.
I think the biggest problem at the end of the day is the fact that some people are just, sitting on a fat business and don't believe that things will change that quickly. So if there would be not an exponential organization, but like a semi or half exponential organization, they would almost believe it. But when you actually present them, the approach, what happened 10 years ago and what is it now, they have forgotten what was it 10 years ago, what was it like. They've completely forgotten about this. They kind of turn it off. And when you then try to explain them that a lot of these things happen exponentially quickly these days, they just simply don't believe you. And the people that believe you ask you then, it's like, yeah, that's true. What does that really mean for us? And right. What does that, and at the end of the day, it comes with different business models, doesn't it? You have said that, and it makes sense to us. So how do these business models look like? And in all honesty, I don't have an answer for that most of the time, because I simply don't know the business models myself. It's the future. It's there's a lot of chaos and complexity in that, and we don't know what will develop. The only thing, and that's why I always try to tell them, is if you have a plan, you can change it. If you don't have a plan, you can't change anything. So you need to actually prepare. And a lot of companies now that I deal with, they actually understand that there is a core and an edge component to the whole thing, and that they should stay on top of the edge. They should invest in the edge. And but it's very difficult when you talk to shareholders to take money out of the core business and putting into the edge business. They rather keep it for themselves to a certain extent. So that's a little bit of a problem. How do I overcome that? I think I have a unique situation. I don't want to make it too nicely looking, but I am very independent. I'm not a consultant. I don't try to make consulting. I am actually have my own opinion. I invest in companies that I believe that are doing certain things. And I try to be an ExO preacher, and I think people believe me to a certain extent because I have no agenda. I don't want to make necessarily money with that, and that's why at the end of the day, I think this is the way to overcome it. You know, if people really that don't have an agenda. What was the third question? I forgot again.
Your wish for you and ExO by the end of the year.
I wish that we would actually change. Also, that we introduce a lot of these ExO concepts into the startup community. I am working right now on a checklist to a certain extent for an incubator, and I want to convince the incubator that forget business plans without cares. But look at, have they checked, validated the customers? Have they actually looked into the future? Have they understood future business models? Do they know global aspects? Do they know where things are going? And, you know, these are the more important things besides, of course, having a good team. I understand that team is important, but I think a business plan is crap these days. So, and that's why I'm trying to convince, and I hope that will be successful. So that will
excellent. Great. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you, Francisco. Congratulations. Great to have you here. And all the best. Speak soon.